Yo, salute, good afternoon. Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. And we're going to get into this real quick. It's not going to take long at all. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on this whole situation. Just wanted to give my 2 cents. While I think about it, you know what I'm saying? Because, man, the boxing world is in disarray. It's in disarray. Now, apparently, we know that Canelo Alvarez is facing off against Terrence Crawford on September 13th, just a few weeks from now. And that's going to be quite the fight there. It's going to expose a lot. It's going to show a lot, okay? It's going to show if Canelo Alvarez really is who people believe he is, and Terrence Crawford as well. A lot of people believe that Terrence Crawford is going to beat Canelo Alvarez for many reasons, both, the tangibles and not the tangibles, whatever the case may be. There are a lot of different factors that are being considered. And so, it is what it is with that. We're going to find out exactly who's going to come out on top. Now, there seems to be some controversy surrounding the fact that Canelo had Jaron Ennis in his camp to prepare for Terrence Crawford. Now, from the point of view of a Canelo, this is a very smart move, right? It's going to, someone like Jaron is going to be best suited to prepare Canelo Alvarez for a fighter like Terrence Crawford with the talents and the athleticism, the switch hitting and all that stuff, the boxing ability. He is going to get those types of looks from Jaron Ennis to prepare him. He is probably the best suited outside of, William Skull, who he's not Terrence Crawford, right? Terrence Crawford is a killer. Terrence Crawford is not going to do what William Skull did when he fought Canelo. So the best suited individual to prepare for Terrence Crawford is indeed Jaron Ennis, speaking from the point of view of the Canelo Alvarez. And then as for Jaron Ennis, he's probably going to get paid a decent amount of money to help Canelo prepare. But there's controversy because Jaron Ennis is black, and Canelo is Mexican, and Terrence Crawford is black. And there is where the controversy comes from, okay? There are those individuals out there that believe that Jaron Ennis sold out because he's helping a Mexican fighter beat, right? He's trying to help the Mexican fighter Canelo Alvarez beat Terrence Bud Crawford. Because let's make no mistake, Canelo is trying to beat Terrence Crawford, and Jaron Ennis is there to help him prepare to beat, right? To beat Terrence Crawford. Make no mistake about that. So Jaron Ennis understands what he's there for. He understands the assignment. I need to prepare Canelo Alvarez to face someone like Jaron Ennis. Like Bud Crawford, and I'm the best suited individual. So Boots knows what he's there for, right? Boots knows what he's there for. Now, of course, we got people that think that Jaron Ennis is not being on code. And there are those that feel like, well, it shouldn't be a problem. It's business. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Some people have a problem. Some people don't have a problem. Where do I stand? Well, I don't know where I stand because I don't know the reasons. I mean, I know the obvious reasons, right? Boots gives a similar look to Bud, and you know, Canelo wants to beat him. I mean, that's on the outside. I mean, outwardly, that's what we understand. When you look at that, you think, well, that makes perfect fucking sense. Now, as to why Jaron Boots Ennis would accept the invitation or even volunteer himself up, well, now you're getting into intent. And we can't prove intent, can we? All we can do is speculate and guess. I don't know if it's a sellout or not. I don't know. What I do know is that Canelo Alvarez is a drug cheat. And I don't respect drug cheats. And if you're a drug cheat in a sport of boxing, such a dangerous sport, especially depending on what PEDs you were using, right? You have to factor that in as well, because some guys, they'll use a diuretic that's illegal. They'll use a fat burner that's illegal, that has nothing to do with enhancing performance but helping you cut weight, right? Which can actually be more detrimental to the user rather than the opponent. It depends on what you're using. Well, Canelo's a drug cheat, point blank and period, right? And so, if we have a problem with Canelo being a drug cheat, I have no problem with that. I have a problem with Canelo being a drug cheat. I have a problem with the WBC and other sanctioning bodies allowing a certain amount of clenbuterol based on the fact that Canelo's Mexican and he eats Mexican meat. And Mexican meat can have clenbuterol in it. They give clenbuterol to the cows down there in Mexico. Okay, whatever. I have a problem with all that. The fact that he's allowed to use a certain amount, the fact that there's an exception for that, I have a problem with it. But what I also have a problem with is the individuals who are outraged by this. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are certain people I respect. They have a problem with it, like 7-8, you know what I'm saying? Drew Titan, those types of individuals that are consistent when it comes to these types of things. Not those that pick and choose when they want to be outraged by it. So, yes, there are certain individuals that have righteous indignation. Jaron, salute to you. The righteous indignation is just that. It's righteous, right? You have a problem with it, but you're consistent across the board. You've always had a problem with these certain types of things. Okay, cool. I can rock with that. Because these guys are consistent, right? You know, there are other examples of individuals. This is not a personal attack to any specific content creator or fan. No. Because if you look at the landscape, it's kind of split, right? It's kind of split. Some people have a problem with it, some people. But I would say this. The reason I say it's fake outrage is because there are those who have a problem with Boots training with Canelo, but don't have a problem with Keyshawn Davis sucking up to Teofimo Lopez, a known racist, or Keyshawn Davis giving a pass to Keyshawn Davis for embracing the racist drug cheat Ryan Garcia. Keyshawn Davis has shown a pattern of cooning out. But for some reason, we want to give him pass after pass, right? We want to give these people passes. Talker Truck Davis, an embracer of a drug cheat and a racist. Straight up coon. We want to give the coons a pass. But then we want to shit on Jaron Ennis for simply showing up to spar with Canelo Alvarez to give him a look that would suit, that would prepare him for Bud Crawford. That's where I say there's fake outrage. Because if you have a problem with Boots doing this, but you don't have a problem with Coon Sean Davis, you don't have a problem with Richard Coons Hitchens, you don't have a problem with Talking Truck Davis for all being coons, I don't understand why you would have a problem with him rocking with Canelo. When has Canelo displayed any form of racism? Salute to J-Man in the building. Jacob Walsh is not my birthday. Oh, is it somebody's birthday? When has Canelo shown that he is racist? You know what I'm saying? I can speculate all day and night about why Canelo did this, to create a problem, to create controversy, to, you know what I'm saying, to stir the pot. Maybe he did, maybe. I can't speak for that. But what I do know is I've never seen anything come out that showed that Canelo might be a racist. When they asked him who his favorite fighters were, they were all black fighters. Nonetheless, and as far as Boots goes, I've never heard Boots defend the racist Ryan Garcia. I've never seen him coon out like Coon Sean Davis, Richard Coons Hitchens, Talking Truck Davis. These guys have outwardly and openly cooned out on multiple occasions and shat on their black brother. Jaron Boots Ennis is quiet for the most part. Why don't we have that same outrage for Auntie Scope, who defended the racist drug cheat Ryan Garcia? I've seen very few people get on Auntie Scope about that. Schofield Sr. But for some reason, these individuals that don't stand on business when it comes to how Coon Sean Davis and these other guys should be treated, you know, they're not there for that. But now we gotta treat Boots like he's a coon, right? Why are we treating Boots like a coon? Didn't Canelo have another black fighter, another black guy in there, sparring with him? Like Boots wasn't the first, and he won't be the last. Why aren't we on the other heads? Why aren't we on the heads of the other black folks that are sparring with Canelo? Right? Like Terrence Crawford is a slick black boxer puncher. Don't you want to prepare yourself for someone like that by fighting someone with a similar style in the sparring? Who was Canelo supposed to get to prepare him best for Terrence Bud Crawford? Which should he have gotten? Who should he have gotten? Right? Look, I understand if you think it's a problem, if you think that it's selling out. The Ellis brothers were in there to help him with Charlie. No one had a problem with that. And then where do you stop with the outrage? Where do you stop? Where does it stop? Because if you feel like a black fighter should not do business with Canelo in the form of sparring, then why is it okay for Bud to fight Canelo? Oh, absolutely, Canelo wants a payday. Everybody wants a payday in professional boxing. Everybody who fights at a professional level wants to get paid to fight. I mean, there's no problem with that. But if we don't want to do business, if black folks should not do business with Canelo in the form of sparring to prepare for another black, why is the black fighter fighting Canelo in the first place? Why aren't we getting on Bud for fighting Canelo and helping him get a payday? If we have, I'm just confused. I'm confused as to that. You know? Yeah, I mean, Bud does have some Mexican. You want the similar look. You want the similar style of your opponent. You're going to get whoever, you know what I'm saying? If it's a Mexican fighting in the style of Canelo, you're going to get that guy. If it's a black guy fighting in the similar style to Bud, you're going to get that guy. Why can't we be even across the board? I didn't want Bud to fight Canelo. I don't want anybody to fight Canelo. I mean, listen, if you're a drug cheat, you're a drug cheat in the sport of boxing. I think that if you're a drug cheat, it should be dealt with more harshly than it is right now, especially depending on what you're using. So if the problem is Canelo being a drug cheat, well then why is Bud fighting him? Why aren't we getting on Bud's head for fighting Canelo in the first place? These are questions that I have, that I wanted to pose, because I'm trying to understand what the outrage is exactly. And can we be even across the board in regards to everybody? And that's all I really had on this situation. I mean, I have no stance on it personally, because I mean, I didn't want this fight to happen in the first place. I don't think it's, I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I know it's about the payday. I know they're getting paid, but outside of that, I mean, I didn't really care about this fight. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I think drug cheats should not be in the sport of boxing. So if we're going to stand on that, if that's our stance, then we should have a problem with anybody that fights Canelo after they knew he was a drug cheat, just like with Ryan Garcia. I had a problem with Devin Haney wanting to fight Ryan Garcia again. I didn't want that to happen either. But Devin Haney wanted to get it back. He wanted to get his lick back. I had a problem with it. I'm like, nah, I don't think that's a good look. I don't think it sends the right message. But that was Devin's decision, because he had his own personal motive, right? He felt cheated. He was cheated. He felt like if given an even playing field, he would have won. And so he wanted to correct that. He wanted to right that wrong. But I still, regardless, no black fighter should ever do business with Ryan Garcia again, in my opinion. Because we know not only is he a drug cheat, but he's also a racist. But guys like Sean Davis, you know, hey, they still wanted to do it. They still wanted to fight him. You know what I'm saying? Kissing his ass, defending him. You know, I can't rock with that. So I don't see what Boots did being on that level, like defending and embracing a racist Ryan Garcia. J-Man says I rock with Boots. He's one of my favorite fighters, but this move is really disappointing. I understand that. If you're disappointed with it, I understand it, but why? What makes you disappointed? Stormy B Man, salute to you. I just finished a video on Vito Maneki, opponent from February, tested pot. Oh my goodness, what? Another fighter popping dirty. Wait, in February? When did they find out? Wow. And we're just not, it's freaking August, bro. Y'all go check out Stormy B, man. Y'all drop that link, Stormy. Wow. That's crazy. So he popped dirty in February? Or his opponent, it was in February? That's way too long, man. Helping out the drug chief. I'm with you on that, J-Man. I'm with you on that. Trying to stick it to Crawford. Okay. Because he's helping the drug chief. Do you have a problem with Crawford fighting Canelo, the drug chief? Is my question. That I would have to pose that question to you. If you have a problem with Boots sparring Canelo because he's a drug chief, do we also have a problem with Bud fighting Canelo because he's a drug chief? Because I did. I feel like it's just like I said, dude from Ireland, man, that's crazy, Stormy. That's ridiculous that it's taking that long to find out these guys are drug chiefs. See, this is why we have to be diligent and vigilant. When it comes to drug cheating, we got to stay on motherfuckers' necks, man. And this is what I say when I say, why, I mean, and let me, you know what? Is Stormy going to be the only guy talking about this drug cheat in February? See, this is what I'm saying. You know what, Stormy? I got to check that video out that you did. I'm going to share it for you. How much do I bench? I don't bench, bro. I mean, I bench, but I don't do 1 rep maxes and none of that. As long as the drug testing is strict and even playing field, okay, so why should, okay. If, J-Man, as long as it's on an even playing field and everybody is doing what they're doing, supposed to be doing, and it's strict, then what's the problem with Boots sparring for that same reason? That's what I'm saying. It's not, I don't think it's even across the board. Because if you have a problem with Bud, or if you have a problem with Boots sparring Canelo because he's a drug cheat, then I would think that you would have the same problem with Boots, with Bud fighting, doing business with, bigger business with, helping Canelo get $100 million bag. All right, sorry about that. I had a phone call. You don't have, hey, Jay, man, I don't want you to not like it. I don't want you to not like it. I'm just trying to understand the reasoning, right? The reasoning. Because like I said, I have a problem with anybody doing business with a known drug cheat. Whether they're sparring with them, whether they're fighting them, because Bud is going to help Canelo get $1 million payday, $100 million payday for this fight, and Bud is getting paid as well. So where I stand, yes, the reason is money, of course, but like I said, if we have a problem with Boots doing business with Canelo, the drug cheat, then why don't we have the same problem for Bud doing business with Canelo, the drug cheat? Because one guy is sparring and the other guy is fighting him. Now, as far as sticking it to Bud, he might be. I don't know. He might be sticking it to Bud. It might be just a whole big old campaign to get Bud off his A game. I get it, because you like Boots, and you probably think that because look, we've already created an atmosphere where we're piling on Bud, right? Because we're accusing them of being a drug cheat. We're doing this, we're doing that. People are going after Bud right now. But if Boots is doing business with Canelo to prepare for Bud, who is Canelo supposed to get? That's my question. Who would Canelo get that would give a similar look to Bud that's not, that's not, what's his name? That's not Boots. You know what I'm saying? It would probably have been a black fighter. He had black fighters in his camp before. I'm just saying, why is it a problem for Boots to do it? Boots doesn't see color, even if he did. It was Boots calling me? That's funny. Canelo's a hypocrite, talking about everyone else wants a payday. Everybody wants a payday. Of course Canelo's a hypocrite. Canelo's full of shit. He used that damn excuse to duck Demetrius Andrade, right? He ducked David Benavidez. I barely have any respect. I don't have any respect for Canelo as a fighter, because he's a drug cheat and he's a duck. There's that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like this fight. Boots' brother has been in the camp before. Yeah, wasn't that Boots' brother in the middle? In the picture? So that's what I'm saying. Do we have a problem with Boo Ennis? Or not Boo? What's his name? What's his brother's name? Pooh Ennis? Do we have a problem with Pooh? Was it Pooh that was in the camp with him? I'm saying, y'all. I have no problem with people having a problem with Boots working with Canelo. What I have a problem with is, if you have a problem with that, you should also have a problem with Bud. In my estimation, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't make the distinction between, okay, well, this guy's sparring, this guy's fighting. I don't make that distinction. I think this is a whole. It's not a clown show like goddamn Jake Paul versus Tonka Truck, but I mean, it's clearly a big money grab, and so what? So what if it's a money grab? My question is, why isn't Bud dropping his belt at 154? So that's another problem I have with it. Anarchy Television, salute to you, brother. Anarchy Television is in the building. Also, if we have a problem, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, once we get on this train, we got to really think about what we're talking about. Because, I mean, if the problem is that, all right, well, Boots is going to help Canelo best fight Bud, prepare for Bud, and you have a problem with that, okay, that's fine as well. I have no problem with that in and of itself. But why is that Boots' problem? Why does Boots have to care about y'all feelings about it? This is what I'm trying to understand. Why should Boots care about what y'all think, whether or not he's helping Canelo? Like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all already been shitting on him for all his moves anyway, for what he's been doing and going to 154, fighting Lima Bean, and ducking these guys at 147, ducking out at 147, not unifying with Brian Norman, and I mean, y'all already been shitting on him. Why should Boots care? Yeah, y'all can go. I mean, it is what it is, right? But should Boots care whether or not y'all think he's a sellout? Maybe he already feels abandoned by the community because he's doing things y'all don't like. maybe he's like, well, fuck it. They ain't gonna like me anyway. J-Man says, I just don't like seeing one of my favorite fighters begin helping a fighter. Never respected in the optics. The optics may look bad. I get it. Like I said, I get it. I get it. Those are valid points. Okay, so y'all don't like it. Let's say you don't like it. What did Boots do wrong, though? Is my question. Did Boots do something wrong? I have a fight coming up. This is a very unique fighter. It's fucking Bud. Terrence Bud Crawford, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Right? I need somebody to help me prepare for this guy, this unique individual. You know what I'm saying? The guy I find might not have the experience. He might not have a lot of things, but at least he can give me a look. It's not going to help him. It's not going to help Canelo with other aspects, right? But I need somebody best suited to help me prepare. Yes, it's one of your favorite fighters helping a piece of shit in your mind prepare for another one of your favorite fighters. Well, what if they ended up having a fight? Was Boots trying to fight Bud and Bud trying to fight Boots? Would that have been a problem? Because now you got one of your favorite fighters actually fighting one of your other favorite fighters. Where do we draw that line? Like I said, I'm indifferent. Like, I don't really care because I don't like this fight anyway. I think that Bud fighting a known drug cheat is a problem. I think anybody, I don't really care. After I found out about the clenbuterol usage, I really just didn't give a shit. And there's an asterisk by Canelo's name when it comes to his career. That's why, in my opinion, he can't be in the pound for pound rankings because he's a known drug cheat. So anything he does is like, especially if he's not getting any real punishment, the camp that he's in, the Reynoso camp, can also understand you're not just helping Canelo make money. You're not helping Canelo get the bag when you're fighting him. You're also helping his camp get the bag. The Reynoso camp, who has 7 drug cheats. Bud is helping them get paid. Boots has been getting shatted on a lot since the Villa. Yes. Maybe you don't give a shit what y'all think. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's getting backlash for sparring with Canelo. It's a sparring match. This looks Jester Gaming. You asked a question. I'm assuming you're asking me if Floyd Mayweather's the GOAT or if Pacquiao's the GOAT. Well, Floyd Mayweather is the GOAT, right? When it comes to boxing ability and his career and what he's done in the sport of boxing. But that's where I stand, y'all. I mean, we really have to start asking ourselves these questions because if I already had a problem with Bud fighting. Exactly, Stormy B, man, a whole camp of dopers. Bud is helping them get paid by fighting Canelo. I already had a problem with that in and of itself. So you invite what you invite in when you do things like that. When you say, okay, I'm gonna fight this drug cheat who had 6 other fighters in his camp popping dirty. At that point, you lay with dogs, you get what? You get motherfucking fleas, in my opinion. But I understand where some guys have a problem with what Boots is doing. I get it. Because these guys are consistent. They are consistent with their stances. Now, and these guys had a problem with, if you had a problem with Boots or Bud fighting Canelo in the first place, then I don't see why you shouldn't have a problem with Boots sparring with him. I mean, it's the same shit. They're both doing the same shit. Like Stormy 7'8", Drew Titan. Guys that have been very vocal about Canelo being a drug cheat and not wanting this fight to happen. BF and all these guys. Yeah, I can rock with that. But there are other guys out there. Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Right? But like I said, and these guys, look, most of these guys think that Bud is going to win anyway. And that's perfectly fine. Well, the fight's going to happen. Ain't nothing you can do about it, right? There's nothing we can do about it. Whether we liked it or not, Bud was going to do what he was going to do. My question is, why not extend? I mean, listen, Boots already did the shit. Boots already sparred with him. Are we going to withdraw support from Boots? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in my thing with myself in supporting a fighter is, if you are an elite fighter, if you are considered to be an elite fighter and you want to be treated as such, what are you doing to show us that you're an elite fighter? Well, we always thought that Boots had the potential, right? But we saw flaws in his game. We saw flaws in his moves, right? Why sign with Eddie Hearn? What fighters did Eddie Hearn have for you to challenge yourself and get you to that next level? Okay? Why talk about, there are certain things that Boots has done that made me look at him like, man, whatever. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now we go to 154, where we had 2 belts, right? We had a couple belts that we could have taken to 154 and challenged some of the top dogs there. But we wanted tune-ups. Okay, why? What do you want a tune-up for? You're an elite fighter. We look at you like, okay, he's that dude. So, as far as that's concerned, like, I'm already looking at Boots like, man, you need to do something, bro. J-Man says at least Boots was beating him up and making money. Bud is getting the most money he's ever seen. At least Boots was beating him up. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, they're going to make money. But that's what I'm saying. If we're going to be okay with Bud making money off of Canelo, then why do we have a problem with Boots doing it? He's not going to get the bag Bud is getting. He's going to get maybe a couple hundred, maybe a few $1,000s, maybe a 10. I don't know how much Canelo would pay him for that. Whatever he's paying him, he's getting paid for it. So if we don't have a problem with Bud getting paid off Canelo, then, I mean, it is what it is. It shouldn't be personal. It shouldn't be personal. What it should be is, all right, Canelo is looking for the best fighter that's going to give him the better edge against Bud, give him a similar look, and make sure there's not too many surprises. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing, that's fucking Boots. For all intents and purposes. That's the closest you're going to get. You know? And if Boots had shown that he was on that elite level, that he was on the same level as Bud, then Canelo could just fight Boots. And if Boots fought Canelo, it wouldn't be a problem that wouldn't be a problem, but it would be a problem if Canelo went and got Bud to help prepare for Boots. Who else is out there on that level that can give that look? There's nobody. There is no one there. Like, for real. Canelo is supposed to do the best he can do to win. And Boots got paid for it. So, it is what it is, y'all. I mean, that's my take on it. Like I said, I have no problem if you have an issue with this. It's just, we have to think about whether or not we should have an issue with Bud fighting Canelo in the first place for the same reasons. For the drug cheating, right? For the drug cheating, for being a drug cheat, for being a known drug cheat in a camp with 6 other fighters that are drug cheats, that are getting caught consistently and always getting away with it, getting a pass. Where is like Jaime Munguia, the other guy for Fernandez, Francisco, whatever his name is? No punishment for these guys. They were given a pass. And then Stormy B-Man points out another fighter that popped dirty, and we're just now finding out today. The motherfucker popped dirty in February. I mean, think about that. Think about that. Tyson Fury. Also, yes. Tyson Fury. Also. I mean, these guys, and look, I didn't even know, real talk, I didn't know Tyson Fury popped dirty until after he fought Deontay Wilder. I didn't know that until after, when Glovegate happened. With the glove. The shit with the glove. I didn't even know that. I was like, oh shit, this motherfucker popped dirty before? And why is he still fighting? Like, hey, American first. If you don't have a problem with Boots fight, with sparring Canelo, I ain't got a problem with that either. I ain't got a problem with that either. Yeah, the glove was a fix. Yes, obviously. If you have common sense and you look at it and you've used gloves before and you know how they work and you know how it looks when you hit somebody with a glove where your hand is not fully extended into the glove, you know what that looks like. But I didn't know that he was a drug cheat before that. I didn't know he popped dirty before. But these are things that go under the radar. They go under the radar. These guys get a pass. And guess what? Other fighters see these guys get a pass. And they're like, well, I'm going to risk it. They're going to risk it because they don't think, they think they're going to get a pass as well. And you know what? They might be right. They might be right. And that's one thing we have to consider when we're talking about all these different things we have an issue with. Let's have an issue. If we got a problem with drug cheats in the sport of boxing across the board, let's be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Because if we keep giving these guys passes, they're gonna keep popping. They're gonna keep doing the drugs, and then another fighter's gonna, oh well, let me try that. Oh well, let me get 2 weeks and all this other shit. And then they're gonna bring up the Victor Conte, all this bullshit. Listen, man. They're only doing what we allow them to do. Queen Mother Shaquila, salute to you. They're only doing what we allow them to do in this sport. If we support the shenanigans, they're going to continue to give us shenanigans. Yes, Stormy man, a couple times before Wilder, and I didn't know that until after that man put Deontay Wilder's life at risk. I did not know that. At risk. Gave him a dent in his head. I did not know that. This guy came in the second fight and was all over this dude and just hitting him with his goddamn, with the stupid glove and all that shit. Floppy glove gate. Man, this is a problem. What they only get away with, what we allow them to get away with, and motherfucking Tyson Fury got away with it multiple times. If you pop dirty twice, then you no longer belong in the sport. If you pop dirty once, depending on what you used, you no longer belong in the sport. If it is a legit enhancer of speed, power, endurance, or anything like that, you need to be you're out of here. Or you need to go through a multiple year suspension, during which time you must get tested at your own expense. So if you're serious about returning to the sport clean, we know by how much money you put into it. It's an investment. You're investing in helping us believe that you are ready to come back. No. You want to go to goddamn Egypt, or you want to go to goddamn Malaysia and all this shit and do these little exhibitions? Go ahead. Go ahead. Like Ryan Garcia tried to go to Japan during his suspension. But Golden Boy said, no, hell no. That's how you should be treated. You should have to go around the world, but you should not be allowed to fight in this sport under any sanctioning body, under any ranking, after you pop dirty. Unless, I mean, you really got to know. We really got to know that, hey, I learned from my mistake. This won't happen again. And if it happens again, you're done. You're done, son. Ain't no 3 strikes. 2 strikes, you out. That's how I carry it. We ain't got time for this bullshit. Shit. I mean, look, it's what's his name? Tyson Fury. The Gypsy King, right? Oh, the Japanese guy, yeah, he might have been. But, you know, it is what it is, y'all. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, you have a problem with it, you don't have a problem with it. I understand. But if you're not consistent, it's like, well, what's the real problem? What's the real problem? But that's all I got, y'all. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for liking and sharing and subscribing and all that good shit. And yeah, y'all stay up. Be safe out there. And yeah, man, let's be, at least me, I want to be consistent, man. If you're a drug cheat, you're a fucking drug cheat. Even Michelle Rivera, who used diuretics and fat burners, that really more of a danger to himself. If you look up what he used, it was more of a danger to himself. Nonetheless, if you're willing to take those substances, which are banned, it just lets me know, well, how do I know you're not willing to take other substances? So once you do that, it's very difficult for me to believe that you wouldn't go to another length. So, Canelo's a drug cheat. We know that he has an acceptable amount of clenbuterol he can use. I find that to be a problem. And it should be a problem for anybody that wants to fight him or even thought about fighting him. But hey, I mean, these are grown-ass men we're talking about. I think that Bud is the problem that Bud is doing it, but hey, that's what he wants to do. He's giving Canelo a pass as well. Understand that. Bud is giving Canelo a pass for being a drug cheat. Point blank and period. Just like Boots is. Boots is giving him a pass, Bud is giving him a pass. Anyway, thank you guys for coming through. Much love, like, share, subscribe. And let's keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.